I have met a few introverts who are like, this is a really nice time. I'm getting to go inside. I'm getting so much energy from not having to be distracted by social activities. I'm getting so much done. I'm like, wow, that's really showing the difference of how we get our energies.
Why don't you tell me what's going on?
So I guess, aside from all the craziness in the world, which has made it really hard to think and focus, I also feel like I've chosen these two businesses, and obviously running a business is a lot of work. Like, how is that going to play out having the two of them?
What kind of conflict have you experienced with the two of them?
Just with quarantine, I feel I have such a limited amount of energy. I'm very extroverted. I get my energy from events and groups and being around people. Sure, like Zoom is great, but that's really different than being physically engaged. It cuts out a certain intimacy in it. Like when I normally go to groups, it'll be really fun group dynamic. Then you pair off and have a few great talks with a few people. It allows for a lot more just very natural engagement. And I think Zoom interrupts that. Sorry, that's Pickles.
You got it. Hey, Pickles. So we have these two projects. They're different. You have responsibility to someone else on one of them. You have just yourself on another, which requires more work. You have limited energy because we're in a very unique time right now.
Yeah, now I have very limited energy, and I've always been a very high energy person, so I'm not used to feeling this.
So the question is around balancing the two, clarifying the two.
Balancing, clarifying, and just...
I think you said timeline.
Timeline, like how are they going to grow if that's something that shows up? Like, is one going to be really big first? I don't even know if that's something that shows up.
I always react when I read the card and then I give it away. Okay.
There it is.
The first card, which represents your past, is the 9 of Autumn. And the card reads, reward yourself for all your hard work, being happily and successfully self-employed, and cherishing your time alone.
Oh God. Okay, all of that except this time alone, I'm not really cherishing.
Well, that's why I laughed. I was like...
I'm like not even close to cherishing it.
It's time to reward yourself for your wonderful achievements. You've accomplished a great deal, and you deserve a little relaxation, nurturing, and peace. Enjoy the fruits of your labors. Do something that feels truly luxurious and self-loving. There are certain achievements and hard work that you want to recognize or share.
I feel really good about finishing the book. I feel really proud of it. I feel proud of the mental work I put into it, figuring out what I figured out. It was just a really fascinating experience.
Like, getting it into the world is part of the reward of all your hard work. Maybe there's some unfinished business with it that's keeping you from being able to focus, which is why you're kind of going back and forth between the two businesses. So again, the additional meanings of the card are just being happily self-employed, creating a beautiful environment, enjoying the finer things in life, cherishing your time alone.
I did used to cherish my alone time, not this much.
Yeah.
I wanted this much.
Yeah, none of us want this much alone time right now, right?
Right. I have met a few introverts who are like, this is a really nice time. I'm getting to go inside. I'm getting so much energy from not having to be distracted by social activities. I'm getting so much done. I'm like, wow, that's really showing the difference of how we get our energies, having the completely different physiological reaction to this too, where I just don't have an ounce of energy, and have always been known for being an exceptionally high energy person. The part I was excited about was all, getting to go to readings and interacting with people. And, you know, I felt like, yeah, that was going to be one of my favorite parts of it, which hopefully we'll get to do soon.
All right, so your present card is the Prince of Spring. Charming, self-confident, passionate, restless.
Oh, those are all good things.
Is that you
Like,
or is that someone else that you know?
I mean, I would definitely say I'm restless. I would say I'm passionate. I don't know if I'm charming. That's hard to decide for yourself. I mean, I suppose like everyone else, I am to some people and not to others.
So the card says immediate action, a challenge you can successfully manage, and a passionate relationship. It feels
Okay.
like a challenge you can successfully manage feels like they're saying you got this. This is the proverbial knight in shining armor, and he's here to help you in whatever way he's needed. There's no task too big and no detail too small that he won't rush in and take charge of it. If you need something done now, he's your guy. As an endless optimist, he is always smiling while he works. And once the job is done, you'll probably get a happy wink from him as well. Does this remind you of anything?
Not someone I can exactly think of.
Is this too, like, if it wasn't the pandemic, who you are?
It does feel like me, you know, I mean, in a good and bad way. I feel like I'm the kind of person that just is like, okay, it needs to be done. I'm just going to go do it. And probably there's a lot of things I could use more help on, but I'm used to just being like, I'll just go in and get it done. And I
Yeah.
enjoy doing it, but I also think I end up taking on a lot because I'm like, I'll just do it myself.
Our prince is charming and courageous, confident, and oh my, so busy.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like you.
Yes.
That's because he wants to see everything, do everything, experience everything.
I relate to all of that.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, if there's a lull in the action at the moment, you may find yourself with a very bored prince.
That's completely me.
The pandemic has put a lot of us in a position where we simply can't move forward on certain projects. And then the boredom kind of drives us a little crazy.
Yes, relate to that completely.
Bored prince can be a grumpy and impatient prince. It's hard for him to really relax and kick back when there's just so much to accomplish out there in the world.
Yeah, I think that's where I lose all my energy. It's just like when I feel so held back, it's like, I mean, that's another part of it, as well as not being able to be with people, which feeds me. It's just this feeling of being held back is very exhausting and draining.
It is. I related back in April or so. Maybe the beginning of April was the first time that I actually was like on a walk and I thought, I think I need to start crying. Like, this is the day that I'm going to cry. And I thought about how, like, everything we want to do, but we can't do, whether it's because of the pandemic or our location, our finances, whatever it is we want to do, we have to say, no, you can't. And because we practice, and I know you practice mindfulness, we're like, just be calm. This is out of your control. But every time we say, no, you can't, it's a prick. And like, eventually there is going to be a big open wound and it hurts because we're saying that to ourselves multiple times per day.
You just can't do almost anything you want to do. And normally you can be like, okay, this is out of my control. And it's a few things, and a lot of things are in your control. But to have almost everything out of your control is hard.
Your future card is the moon. Powerful, intuitive epiphanies, letting go of worry and fear, and understanding the truth of a situation. Worry is unnecessary and will only slow down your progress.
Okay.
So you're making progress on these two things. Worrying that you don't have as much energy as you used to have, or worrying about whatever other issues, or if you're dedicating your time correctly, it might just not be constructive. Like, do what you can when you can do it, and that's it. Just to review, You should feel awesome about all the things you've done and celebrate,
Yeah.
though you're not cherishing your time alone. It's okay.
I'm not at all.
The present is like whatever the current challenges, you can handle them. You tend to get like, this is you, and you can tend to get restless if you don't have enough on your plate. So you might be overthinking the things between the two and whether you're doing enough or too much or not enough. And that really like is the moon telling you to don't be afraid, listen to your dreams, listen to your intuition, see which people and events cross your path. There might be just momentum shifts into the different projects that you're working on.
Okay. It's not, but this isn't a moment that's really about me at all. You know, it's like I can keep other people safe and our community safe by just like staying home. So it's kind of about doing this good thing for the world temporarily and just making peace, I guess, with how it's just more limited now.
Though we might feel like we are lost, you at your core are not lost in this situation.
Try to remember this too shall pass, right?
We will both grow from this situation.